Ambassador Zekthor's 4 eyes blinked in sequence as he reviewed the transmission one final time. The holographic display showed a small blue-green planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star in what the galactic charts designated as Sector 7739 Delta. The world was inhabited by a species that called themselves humans, bipedal creatures with an alarming tendency toward violence and an inexplicable attachment to something they termed freedom. "Are we certain this is necessary?" asked Counselor Vexuna, her crystalline form shimmering with nervous energy. "The humans have only just achieved faster-than-light travel. Surely they pose no real threat to the established order." Zekthor's mandibles clicked in amusement. "That's precisely why we must act now, before they spread their chaos throughout. Civilized space. Our intelligence reports indicate they've already begun establishing colonies beyond their home system. Within a generation, they could be knocking on the doors of proper galactic civilization." The Galactic Council chamber fell silent except for the gentle hum of the station's life support systems. Representatives from dozens of species, the elegant Altarians with their translucent wings, the massive Grandari with their stone-like hides, the ethereal Psychith who communicated through pure thought, all turned their attention to the transmission display. "The message is ready for broadcast," announced Technician Morval from his position at the communication array. "Standard ultimatum protocol, translated into their primitive languages." Zekthor nodded his approval. "Proceed. The transmission." Beam lanced across the void, carrying the Council's decree to the small world that dared to venture beyond its orbital boundaries without permission. The message was simple and direct. Cease all expansion activities immediately. Return to your home system. Submit to Galactic Council authority or face immediate pacification. They expected the humans to respond as all species did when first contacted by the Council, with fear, submission, and grateful acceptance of their place in the galactic hierarchy. The Council had been maintaining order for over 50,000 years. They had perfected the art of bringing unruly species into line. 3 days later, Earth's response arrived. "Sir," Morval's voice carried an unusual tremor as he processed the incoming data. "The humans have sent a reply." "Excellent," Zekthor said, settling his bulk into his ceremonial chair. "I trust they've seen reason and agreed to our terms?" Morval's secondary arms twitched nervously. "Not exactly, sir. The message is brief." The main display flickered to life, showing a human male in what appeared to be a military uniform. His face was stern, his eyes cold. When he spoke, his voice carried an edge that made several council members shift uncomfortably. "To the Galactic Council," the human began, "we acknowledge receipt of your ultimatum. Our response is as follows. No." The chamber erupted in shocked chatter. Zekthor raised a clawed hand for silence. The human continued. "We will not cease our expansion. We will not submit to your authority. We will not return to our home system. If you wish to enforce your demands, you are welcome to try. Sincerely, Admiral Sarah Chen, United Earth Defense Force." The transmission ended. "Preposterous," sputtered Counselor Grixmal, his tentacles writhing in indignation. "A species barely out of their star system dares to defy the Council. They must be made an example of." Zekthor felt his confidence waver slightly. In 5 centuries of diplomatic service, he had never encountered such brazen defiance from a newly contacted species. Perhaps they simply don't understand the consequences of their refusal. "We should send the enforcement fleet," Already en route, confirmed Fleet Commander Naltesh through the communication array. 75 heavy cruisers, escort carriers, and support vessels. The human colony worlds will surrender within days, and their home planet will follow shortly after. The Council settled in to wait for news of their inevitable victory. It never came. The first indication something was wrong occurred when the enforcement fleet's daily reports stopped arriving. Then the long-range sensors detected massive energy signatures in Sector 7739 Delta, the kind of readings that typically accompanied the complete destruction of starships. Fleet Commander Naltesh, please respond, Morval broadcast repeatedly into the void. Enforcement Fleet Alpha, report your status. Only silence answered. A week later, the Council's worst fears were confirmed when a single battered scout ship limped into Council space. The pilot, a young Altarian named Kesara, had been part of the outer perimeter during the enforcement action. "They were waiting for us," she gasped, as medical technicians tended to her injuries. The humans. They had ships we'd never seen before. Sleek, fast, armed with weapons that tore through our shields like they weren't there. And the pilots... She shuddered. They fought like demons. No fear, no hesitation, just pure calculated violence. Zekthor's hands trembled as he processed the report. "How many of our ships escaped?" "Mine," Kesara whispered. "Only mine. They let me go. The human admiral, Chen, I think, she sent a message." The ambassador's blood turned cold. "What message?" "She said to tell the Council that Earth doesn't negotiate with those who threaten humanity's future. She said they would be coming for us next." The chamber fell into stunned silence. 50,000 years of galactic order, shattered by a species that had only recently learned to harness nuclear energy. "We could mobilize the full Council fleet," Counselor Vexuna suggested weakly. "Every world, every ship." "No." The voice came from the chamber's entrance. All eyes turned to see ancient wise singer Yothuna, eldest member of the Council, her energy form crackling with barely contained power. She had been alive when the Council was founded, had helped establish the very laws they now lived by. "We have made a grave error," she continued, floating toward the center of the chamber. "We treated the humans as we have treated countless others, as subjects to be controlled. But they are something different, something we should have recognized." "What do you mean?" Zekthor asked. Yothuna's form pulsed with what might have been sadness. "They are what we once were, before we became comfortable with our dominance. They are conquerors, explorers, survivors, and we have awakened something that should have been left sleeping." The lights dimmed as proximity alarms began sounding throughout the station. On the tactical display, hundreds of contacts appeared at the edge of sensor range, moving with purpose toward the Council's heart. "Incoming transmission," Morval announced, his voice barely above a whisper. Admiral Chen's face appeared on the display once more. This time, she was standing on what appeared to be the bridge of a massive warship, with the blue curve of Earth visible through the viewport behind her. "Galactic Council," she said, her voice carrying across the vast distances between species and worlds. "You threatened humanity's future. You sought to cage us, to limit us, to make us bow to your will. You sent a fleet to enforce your demands." Her smile was cold and sharp. "That fleet no longer exists." The tactical display showed the human vessels moving inexorably closer, their weapons already powering up. "You wanted to see what humanity is capable of when threatened," Admiral Chen continued. You're about to find out. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. We are humanity, and we do not yield. The transmission ended. Zekthor stared at the approaching fleet and realized with horrible clarity that the age of the Galactic Council was over. In its place, something new and terrible was about to be born. The humans had responded to their threat with the only language they truly understood: overwhelming, unstoppable force. And now, nothing would survive to challenge humanity's march across the stars.